and I got a phone call from my best friend's mom that I used to call Mammy. And for the first 5 minutes on the phone, she couldn't speak. And I knew Brett was gone. There was no question what that phone call was about. Luckily, I was pulled over the side of the road, and she said, "Could you please get here immediately?" And I said, "Where's Dad?" Or Pappy is what I called him. Mammy and Pappy were as close as any parents could be. And I knew that they needed me. Brett and his girlfriend were headed down to a party at the river, which I knew they were headed there. I had actually talked to him that day. The last words I said to Brett was, "I'll see you next week." Brett had been drinking, and the car left the road, and Brett was instantly killed. His girlfriend spent a long time trying to get out of that car. In talking to her, it sounded absolutely horrific. She was cut, she was hurt, and Brett was dead. She's all by herself. No one knows she was there. She eventually was able to wiggle around enough and get out of the car, and then she had to walk to safety. Firefighters and paramedics were rushed to the scene, but there was nothing they could do. And the explanation from her of her terror that dark night will never leave my mind.
I first met Kevin about 18 to 20 years ago, working at another job. He gives everything, he pours everything into this community. He lives here, he loves it here, he loves the people here. He has an infectious personality about him. Once you know or meet Kevin Loveland, you'll never forget him. Whether that's his loud laugh or his boisterous laugh or the genuine concern he has for you, even not knowing you, he connects with people very well. I met him and instantly hit it off with him. We've been friends for going on 20 years now, and throughout the years of knowing him and in different professions, and once I got into law enforcement, him having the funeral home and being part of this community, and at every fundraiser, every function, every Little League jersey, every, sign on the football stadium, wherever it is, you always see Kevin Loveland's name because he cares so much about this community and he cares so much about the people that live in Union County.
Kevin is a really unique person. I think that he has the ability to be really self-deprecating, so he's got a great sense of humor, and you can kind of say anything to Kevin. I've known Kevin for, 20 years, and we've worked together for that length of time, but he's also been a super close friend.
If you've ever been with Kevin Loveland at a rodeo or even in here, every person that walks by, he's, "Oh, hey, Martha. Hey, Steve. Oh, hey. Oh, thank you for the pie." I mean, he has interacted with almost, I would say, everybody here in Union County. I would say his heart is this community. The guy cares so much about Union County and Wallowa County and Eastern Oregon.
Safe Ride was established back in 1999, I think. Kevin started the Safe Ride, he'd done the first event, and, he realized he couldn't, do it all, funeral home, everything like that. And I was good friends with Kevin since the day he moved here. And, I was a recovering alcoholic at that time. And I asked Kevin if I could be part of the program. And, I stepped in day one. It was slow the first couple of years, but we really got the word out to the community, what we're doing, providing free rides home from beer drinking events, rodeos, 4th of July's, all that kind of stuff. And it's just been one of the most amazing programs I've ever been part of.
When I first started my career in law enforcement, the Safe Ride program was gaining traction, was being talked about, was starting to be not at every function, but at the majority of the bigger functions. There would be vehicles parked out front, different vehicles every time. Sometimes they had a cardboard sign written on there in black marker or red marker, and you knew in a small circle what that opportunity was as far as a safe ride home.
Brett was cremated, and this is what I have left of my buddy Brett. Besides my wedding ring, this is the most precious thing that I own in this world. My biggest goal of the Safe Ride program is to not only honor Brett, but to truly show people the love that can be shown for people in a community. Because I can tell you, being at those 2 funerals that we had for Brett, there was hundreds of people completely devastated. And sitting there that day, just wondering, how are we ever going to go on? How can we get past this? What can we do to where this doesn't happen again? And I was at a complete loss for 2 years, 3 years. And from 97 to 2000, I truly had no vision of how do we take such a terrible thing and turn it into something good. And it wasn't until about the year 99-2000 that I realized that we can do something, and so can other people, so can other communities. And this just does not have to end with just Brett dying.
I remember one Halloween, we're all out, and this is 15 years ago, and we're all out and having a good time, and you get lost in the time that all of a sudden it's 2 a.m. We're at the bar, we've been dancing, and they're flicking the lights on and off like it's time for everybody to go. And there's no taxi service, there's no bus service, there's no subway service. It is without, me from LeGrand to here is 15 miles. So also not walking 15 miles in the freezing cold. My choices at that time were either to stay the night in my car, or I guess you could drive, which I wasn't going to do that. I wasn't going to drive home after having drank some drinks. And then I looked down at my wrist, and I work for Kevin. So I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to call the Safe Ride program, which I know that number by heart, 963-5022, because that's where I work. I call him. One of the guys shows up and takes me all the way out to my house. So I'm like, but that feeling of feeling really vulnerable, I'm at that time, as a single woman, what am I going to do? I don't feel safe sleeping in my car, and I'm going to freeze to death. And so that was a godsend. There was no other way for me to get home.
We used to have a huge number of DUI arrests waiting for us for charging decisions and people in jail the day after the Elgin Stampede, Stock Show, 4th of July, New Year's Eve, the big events where people were out and about in our community and traveling after they'd had a night on the town, whichever town that might be. We slowly saw after the implementation of the Safe Ride program that those arrests were dramatically decreased, if not completely eliminated.
I remember the first time, it was over 20 years ago when he started this program, and there used to be every New Year's Eve, 4 or 5 DUIs, every single New Year's Eve. It was just like clockwork. The first time he did the Safe Ride program, I looked at the paper, there wasn't one DUI. And I actually wrote an op-ed to the paper saying, can you believe what Kevin Loveland has done? People are getting home safe, or at least not driving drunk. The drinking and driving thing is one of my biggest stresses, being a restaurant owner, and it should be for everybody. Because you never know how alcohol is going to treat you on any given day. Do they know how this drink's going to affect them compared to that drink? Do they know how much water they had that day? Did they eat a full meal? Things happen. Having Kevin have that Safe Ride program, especially on New Year's Eve and those one-off nights, is very, very, I'm not going to say valuable. It's a necessity to make sure that these people, stuff happens. And these people are getting a safe ride home.
We can make this a program that could go to every single community across the United States. Like, every community can chip in and do this. And I hope that after all of what we are doing to talk about our program, that one day we can make a difference and we can make a change. And I don't expect other people to honor Brett's life. That's my job. But if other people could just understand the significance of this program of saving lives, I truly know years from now, our country will look back on this moment of this program and say, it's pretty easy to give people a free ride home. How? Well, you just figure it out and you do it.
Over the years, as this program gains traction, we have drastically, I should say, the Safe Ride program has drastically reduced the amount of DUIs that we see during certain events throughout our community. We would go, 10, 15 years ago, and we would have from 2 or 3 to 10 DUIs in a weekend. And we don't see that anymore. We're still out there looking. We still have the state police. We still have the city police and all my county deputies. We're still doing, our due diligence to look for impaired drivers, and we just don't see them like we used to.
When someone gets a DUI or gets a diversion for a DUI, part of their probation and treatment recommendations is they have to go to the Victim Impact Panel, which is a one-night presentation that costs them money. That money has historically gone to putting on the event, number one, and we used to partner with Loveland Safe Ride, where a portion of that excess money would go to the Safe Ride program. When I became district attorney in 2014, after I want to say our first victim impact panel, and I was going through the budget, I realized we didn't have any money left to contribute, and we could barely actually put on the program itself, and it's required by Oregon law. So I called Kevin to tell him, I don't think we can give you, we don't have any money to give you. He started laughing and I was so confused. He was so excited. He said, that's the whole point of the program, Kelsey. If we don't have offenders having to pay for this treatment, it means they're not getting arrested for DUIs. It means it's working.
December 29th. This is very hard for me to talk about. 1989. I was involved in an accident, and a young gal died, and I was under the influence of alcohol. So if I could take any day back in my life, it would be that day, And, I put her family, the community, I should have never done that. I wish I could change my story about it, but what I done is I can't change, but I can help change it so this doesn't happen to our community again by being at events where there's alcohol being served, so no one else has to drive like what I did. It's something that I think about every day of my life.
My memory of that accident was that it was such a shock, like as this little kind of insular Eastern Oregon rural community, none of us had ever, when we were in high school, had ever lost any of our peers. We'd never knew somebody our own age that had died. And so for us in school when she was killed, and then and for the community as a whole, like that was really rough. I mean, there was a lot of people that were really angry. A lot of people were super sad, and most of us just in shock that, when you're 16, 17, you think you're invincible. And all of a sudden, we weren't.
A tragic accident like mine or other people have, I mean, you gotta surround yourself with your friends. My parents got me through this. I had some really great friends when I had my accident. I'm not gonna lie, I was suicidal. I'm just gonna tell you that. And one of my good friends said, Jerry, if you commit suicide, you're just hurting your family and everyone else, and you're taking the easy way out. That stuck with me for a long time. There's a lot of support groups, whatever you want to call it. But if you ever get in a situation like this, you can call Loveland Funeral Chapel, and they'll give you my phone number, and I'd be honored to work with them to help you get through this. It's it's a tough thing to get through. It's an awkward thing to get through, but you know what? You can change your life for the better.
We got some special friends. The special friends we want to recognize tonight, that is Loveland Safe Ride.
Where do you want me to park?
We'll talk about Loveland Safe Ride. It was founded in 2001 by Kevin Loveland. He's the one driving that beautiful rig out there. And he, of course, is the owner of Loveland Funeral Chapel over in LeGrand, along with Jerry Hopkins and their dedicated team. They started Loveland Safe Ride, and they've safely escorted over 200,000 passengers home from events like rodeos or graduations or even holiday celebrations. But now they're operating as a non-profit organization, and they welcome donations from anyone who believes in and supports the mission.
I know most of these people. They will, if there wasn't an option, they would drive home. Yeah, it's not worth it. It's definitely not worth it. It's, like the last group I had in here, they were very generous. But, it ain't about the tips. It's about making sure they took the smart choice, which they did. Yeah, it's, it's always nice when someone tips you, but the pleasure is, they're going to wake up the next morning. Yeah, it's that I don't have to go out in the middle of the night with a hearse and pick them up somewhere. Yeah, it's the worst phone call in the world. It's, I'm doing both ends on the removal side and the safe ride side. I'd rather haul you in this rig than the other one.
Jerry and Kevin both reached out. Kevin puts hundreds of thousands of dollars every year into this program. And I've always said that the community does need to give back. When they approached me and said they want to do a fundraiser, I was like, what do you need?
Hey guys, it's Monday, September 1st. It's my first day of hunting. Archery season opens Saturday. I feel like I just have enough strength to go for a small walk on the Grand Ron River here in La Grande, Oregon, on a friend's property. And second week in July, I broke my ankle. And a couple of weeks after that, I came down with a strange illness. It's not so fun to talk about. It started with diarrhea. Whenever I'd eat big foods, if the diarrhea didn't happen, I would experience terrible abdominal pains for several hours. About 3 hours after I ate. I've been to countless doctor visits, emergency rooms, CAT scans, ultrasounds. I never figured it out.
Kevin's not just, we don't work together. He's one of my best friends in the world. It just kind of hit me. I broke down when I, thought he was going to die. Kevin's the kind of person that take his shirt off his back to help anyone in this community.
A couple of Saturdays ago, we had my grandson's third birthday party, and we had it here at the house. I got on the scale that morning, and I weighed 148 pounds. And I knew that going from 174 to 148 pounds was very serious and life-threatening. And as I'm sitting at my grandson's birthday party, I truly was thinking that it was the last birthday party that I was going to be able to go to.
I would be devastated if something happened to Kevin, and, it was a devastating phone call to me to have to even think about. My number one concern is his health. My number two concern is the Safe Ride program.
There was one person that I knew that I had to call to talk about Safe Ride. And when I picked up the phone and called Jerry Hopkins about Loveland Safe Ride, it was the most heartfelt, meaningful conversation I've ever had in my life. Because here I am, just getting Safe Ride off to a great start, becoming a nonprofit, starting this documentary to make awareness so the Loveland Safe Ride legacy will continue to go on and save lives in our community. And I truly thought it was all going to end.
If something happened to Kevin, he wanted to know what my thoughts are about the Safe Ride. As long as I'm alive, I don't care if I have to drive for free, haul people on a bicycle or whatever. The Safe Ride is going to live on for forever.
I told him, I said, Jerry, if I lose 5 to 7 more pounds, my kidneys are probably going to start to shut down. And I probably will. I'm probably going to be passing away. The doctors cannot find anything. And he said, Kevin, I've been thinking all day. It was a very emotional conversation, but he said, I promise you, Loveland Safe Ride will continue for the rest of my life, his life. Even if I have to use my own pickup and my own gas money. He said, Loveland Safe Ride will go on with or without you in these 2 counties.
If I was on my deathbed, I probably wouldn't have thought about the Safe Ride or something first, but that's just the kind of person Kevin is. Anyone that puts something in front of his own life, just make sure it goes on, is a specialty right there. Kevin will always be special, and I hope he's around another 30, 40 years.
We finally took matters into our own hands, and with some help from ivermectin, some lemon juice, some baking soda, and a gut cleanse. It somehow subsided. On July 1st, I weighed 174 pounds, and currently I weigh 149. I have 2 of the best elk tags I've ever had in my life. One in the Wallowa unit in Oregon, and one in the Gila National Forest, Unit 16D, hunt of a lifetime. Both of them. My foot hurts. I'm out for my first walk. I've got some ski poles. I've got a way to attach my bow on my back. And I'm just trying this out. I'm pretty dang weak. And as you can see, my cheeks are sunk in, and I'm not looking too good. But just kind of the first report of the season. Which, by the way, I've never done this before, this filming thing. But it's been quite a journey in my life. A week ago today, I was saying goodbye to my wife. And it might not look like it, but I feel alive right now. So I want to thank God, and I want to thank my family and friends. Because I'm out here today, and I would have never guessed that would have happened.
Every community could be doing this. I mean, you're going to start out slow the first couple of years. You're going to build your reputation up in the community, and you're going to be hauling a lot of people. Me and Kevin joke, if we didn't do the Union Stock Show one year, what would people do? Because we've been doing this for over 20, 25 years. They wouldn't know what to do. It's not a free business to do, because it's going to cost you some coin. But I tell you what'll get you right in the heart makes up for the total cost. I mean, knowing you can wake up the next morning and go, well, I got everyone home safe last night, It's such a proud feeling to be part of something like this. I mean, and I want to see this not just here in Eastern Oregon. I want to see it from coast to coast.
Something that I don't think people outside of a rural community realize, we don't have Greyhound buses. There's no public transportation. I think we have one taxi here in town. So the fact that there is a way for people to attend social events and community events where alcohol might be served is huge.
Loveland Safe Ride, like that motto that we're honoring what's been lost by protecting what is still here, that is the 100% what Kevin is trying to do.
I would urge small communities to follow Kevin's footsteps with this program. And I guarantee you, some of these smaller communities, if you reached out to him, he'd be like, this is what I did. This is what's worked. And I mean, he's been doing it for over 2 decades. Pick up the phone and call him.
The first night that I gave people rides home, I could not even tell you how exhausted I was. I looked back at that night and thought about all of the people that I got home safely. And for the first time ever since Brett's passing, I had a little bit of a smile on my face because I could see the big picture. I couldn't see it at the level that it's at now because I just took a few people home. And now that we're at a few 100,000, it's completely changed my life. And I know that his passing has saved thousands of lives.
We would not be the community that we are today without the Loveland Safe Ride program. We would be missing members of our community. We would be attending more funerals. We would have more people incarcerated. And what Loveland Safe Ride, by simply, and I say simply, but providing a mode of transportation, and I can't say it enough, has saved more lives than I'll ever be able to count.